The galaxy was vast, stretching far beyond the reach of even the most advanced civilizations. Stars glittered like scattered jewels across the endless darkness, and planets spun silently around them. For most intelligent species, the galaxy was a place of opportunity, conquest, and fear. And for the 5 alien commanders patrolling the outer sectors, it was a place to assert dominance. The 5 commanders, each from a different species, had long ruled their territories with an iron grip. They had fleets that could destroy entire planets, armies that had crushed millions, and technology that seemed impossible even to imagine. Together, they formed an alliance, an unstoppable force of power, intelligence, and ruthlessness. To them, the galaxy was theirs for the taking. Yet, today, their attention was drawn to a small, unassuming world near the edge of the sector. The planet was blue and green, its atmosphere thick with clouds, oceans, and land masses teeming with life. Sensors had picked up energy readings unlike anything they expected from a primitive planet. Their curiosity was mild. After all, many worlds had strange energy signatures. But something about this planet, something subtle, caught their attention. Commander Vale, a tall, armored figure with eyes like burning coals, leaned over the holographic display of the planet. "These readings, they are unusual," Vale said, voice low and commanding. "The energy signatures are too structured for a primitive species. There is organization, intelligence." Across the table, Commander Thrix, whose multiple limbs moved with unnatural grace, hissed, "Intelligence, yes. But primitive species rarely have the means to challenge us. Likely, it is a trap of nature or a small military outpost. Nothing serious." Commander Scar, the smallest of the 5, flicked a long antenna in thought. "Perhaps, but it is worth a closer look. We have not explored this system fully. If this species has power, we should know before it becomes a threat." The other commanders agreed. It was not fear. They did not know fear yet, but caution. And caution in their experience was wise. Soon, their massive fleet moved toward the planet. Ships of unimaginable size, each bristling with weapons, engines humming with raw power. Fighter crafts darted like swarms of hornets, scanning, mapping, and recording every detail of the planet below. On the surface, the humans noticed nothing at first. Cities bustled, lights sparkled, and technology thrived. But in the hidden centers of Earth's defense grid, scientists and military officers worked in silence, monitoring the approaching fleet. They had expected this day, though few outsiders would believe the preparations had been enough. At the heart of Earth's secret fleet was the human battleship, a masterpiece of engineering and ingenuity. It was massive, its hull lined with adaptive armor that could shift to absorb energy. Shields glimmered faintly even when inactive, and weapon systems were positioned in ways no one outside humanity could have predicted. Captain Elias Kane stood on the command bridge, a figure of calm amidst tension. His eyes scanned multiple holographic displays, each showing parts of the alien fleet approaching. Though outnumbered, Kane felt no fear. Humans had survived against impossible odds before. They had risen on planets that seemed uninhabitable, and they had learned to turn disadvantage into strength. Today would be no different. "Sensors report alien ships in orbit," said Lieutenant Mara, her voice steady but tense. "They are larger than expected. 5 main commanders, plus hundreds of supporting vessels." Kane nodded. "Keep tracking them. Do not engage unless I give the order. Let them come closer. We need to know what we are dealing with before we strike." The alien fleet entered the planet's atmosphere in formations designed to intimidate. They did not land. Such primitive creatures were expected to remain where they belonged. But their scouts moved swiftly, mapping human cities, scanning energy grids, and preparing for a strike. Vale watched the displays with increasing interest. The surface defenses are minimal, but the energy signatures, there is something here, something powerful. I sense it. Thrix laughed, a harsh, metallic sound. "You sense too much. These humans are insignificant. Their weapons are primitive, their fleet small. There is nothing here to worry about." Scar, however, was uneasy. "I do not sense insignificance. There is order, there is coordination. If these humans can organize such energy, what else can they do? But the fleet moved forward regardless, confident in its power. Over the next hours, they observed the humans from orbit, taking notes on their infrastructure, communication signals, and technology. Still, nothing seemed threatening until small signs began to appear. The first sign was subtle, the disappearance of one of the alien scouts. The ship had moved to a city grid for close observation, and then its sensors went dark. At first, the commanders assumed a technical error. But soon, two more scouts vanished in the same manner. Vale's voice hardened. This is unexpected. Human defenses are capable. Not much, but enough to destroy our scouts silently. Scar's antenna twitched. This is not luck. They are precise. They understand strategy. Thrix's multiple eyes narrowed. Enough nonsense. These are small ships. We will crush them if they show themselves openly. But even as he spoke, another anomaly appeared. From the clouds of the planet, a shape emerged. Not one of the small human aircraft they had cataloged, but something vast, moving with a deliberate purpose. The sensors could barely measure its size. Kane, aboard the battleship, had already begun observing the approaching alien fleet. All units, maintain stealth protocols. Prepare for engagement on my mark. They do not know what is coming. The human battleship moved like a shadow, slipping through orbital defenses unnoticed. Its engines glowed faintly, a subtle sign of immense power. For hours, it studied the alien formations, analyzing weaknesses, plotting attack vectors, and preparing to strike not just with weapons, but with human ingenuity. On the alien side, unease began to spread. Vale noticed fluctuations in energy readings, movements that did not correspond to anything in their database. They are hiding something, he said. Something dangerous. Scar's antenna twitched nervously. We should consider retreat. There is power here that we do not understand. Thrix roared in defiance. Retreat? From humans? Pathetic? They will die before they even understand what hit them. The fleet continued its surveillance, unaware that humanity was already preparing its first message. Small drones deployed from the human battleship moved silently, studying the alien vessel's weaknesses. Humans had learned that intelligence, speed, and surprise were more valuable than raw firepower alone. And then, the first sign of human ingenuity appeared. A probe approached the alien fleet under the guise of a routine scan. As it passed one of the alien frigates, it emitted a pulse of energy, subtle, almost invisible to untrained sensors. But the pulse disrupted critical systems, causing the frigate's engines to falter briefly. The aliens scrambled to compensate, unaware of the source. Vale's voice trembled slightly for the first time. This is clever. They are not simple. Thrix growled in frustration. It is a minor annoyance, nothing more. We will crush them. But the humans did not wait for confrontation. Kane knew the value of patience. Observation and preparation were humanity's greatest weapons. The battleship moved into a position unseen, calculating angles of attack, shield vulnerabilities, and the aliens' command structure. As night fell on the planet, the alien fleet maintained orbit, unaware that their arrogance had blinded them. Humanity, patient and intelligent, watched from the shadows. The humans had learned from history. Survival depended on understanding, adapting, and striking at the right moment. And for the first time, the galaxy's hunters faced a species they had underestimated. By the end of the night, Vale, Thrix, and Scar convened in the command chamber of their flagship. Reports came in, more scouts disabled, unexplained energy fluctuations, and mysterious patterns in communications. This is not going as expected, Vale admitted, eyes narrowing. These humans are clever. Too clever. We may have misjudged them. Scar nodded. I warned you. There is power here that we cannot yet measure. We must proceed carefully. Thrix, however, refused to admit doubt. Enough. They are primitive. They cannot challenge us. Prepare the fleet for full engagement tomorrow. We will crush them and move on. But deep down, even Thrix felt the unease creeping in. There was something about these humans. Something different. something that could not be predicted by numbers, weapons, or brute force. And for the first time in their careers, the alien commanders wondered if their arrogance had blinded them. Far below, the humans rested, preparing for the moment they would reveal their greatest weapon. The battleship waited, silent, hidden, and ready. Humanity's first strike was not just a defense, it was a statement. They were not to be underestimated, and the galaxy had yet to see the true power of human intelligence and courage. In the darkness of space, the stage was set. The hunters had arrived, and the hunted were ready. The morning on Earth was calm, with sunlight spilling over oceans and cities, but above the clouds, tension crackled like lightning. The alien fleet remained in orbit, confident that the primitive humans below were powerless. Yet in the shadows, a massive form stirred, a ship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Elias Kane stood on the bridge, his hands resting lightly on the console. He did not need to raise his voice. The crew knew the drill. Every sensor, every weapon system, every communications array was ready. They had waited patiently, watched carefully, and studied every movement of the alien fleet. Now it was time to reveal the human battleship. "Status report," Kane said calmly. Lieutenant Mara, ever precise, responded. "All stealth protocols active, weapons online, shields at maximum efficiency. No detection by alien sensors so far." Kane nodded. "Good. Prepare to move on my mark. We are not just defending. This is a demonstration. They need to understand what they face." The battleship's engines glowed faintly, almost imperceptibly. Slowly, it slipped from the shadow of a massive cloud system, moving into orbit without being detected. Its hull shimmered with adaptive armor, reflecting starlight, and the energy shields cast faint ripples over its surface. On the alien flagship, Commander Vale was the first to notice the anomaly. "What is that? A new ship? Sensors are picking up something massive, too large for a human vessel." Thrix snorted. "Humans? Do not make me laugh. They are primitive. Nothing here could threaten us." Scar, however, flicked his antenna nervously. "It is not like anything we have cataloged. Its energy signature. It is coherent, structured, and extremely powerful. We should be cautious." Vale ignored the warning. "Caution will come later. Prepare to engage if it shows aggression." The humans did not need to engage yet. They only needed to reveal themselves. Slowly, the battleship moved into the perfect position, far above the alien fleet. The sun reflected off its massive hull, turning it into a shining beacon in space. Alien sensors finally picked up its presence, but it was already too late for their assumptions. "Commander, the humans. Their ship is enormous," a subordinate reported. "It is unlike anything in our records. Its hull, it seems to adapt to our scans." Vale's voice tightened. "Impossible. No species of such a size and technology level should exist here." Kane's voice came over the comms, calm, firm, and commanding. "You are far from welcome. Leave now, or face consequences." Thrix laughed, a harsh, metallic sound. "A tiny voice from a tiny planet. They threaten us? Pathetic." But even as he spoke, the humans demonstrated the first of many surprises. The battleship fired a precise, non-lethal energy pulse, disabling the engines of 2 alien frigates without causing permanent damage. The pulse traveled at impossible speed, moving invisibly through space, and the affected ships drifted helplessly. "Impossible," Scar hissed. "Their weapon. It is faster than any projectile we have tested. And their shields, how?" Vale's eyes narrowed. "Concentrate fire. Do not let them act again." The alien fleet fired. Hundreds of energy beams, missiles, and fighter swarms converged on the human battleship. Every alien commander assumed victory was inevitable. Their arrogance told them that no species of humans could resist. Yet the battleship moved with impossible precision. Each weapon was dodged, absorbed, or redirected by shields that seemed to anticipate every attack. Alien beams struck the adaptive hull, only to ricochet harmlessly into space. Missiles vanished in flashes of energy before they could reach the ship. Fighters were disabled with pulses of energy that struck without warning, leaving the aliens confused and afraid. On the human bridge, Kane observed every movement, every calculation flowing seamlessly into action. The crew operated as a single organism, coordinating attacks, defenses, and countermeasures faster than any alien mind could track. Targeting their command frigate, Kane said, "Prepare ion pulses. Non-lethal, but disabling." Lieutenant Mara nodded. "Pulse ready, awaiting your mark." Kane's fingers hovered over the console. Mark. The pulses shot through space, invisible yet precise. The command frigate's engines faltered, its weapon systems short-circuited, and chaos spread across the alien formation. Fleet communications scrambled. Aliens who had once laughed now shouted in panic. Vale slammed a claw onto the control panel. "This cannot be. They are predicting our movements. They are thinking faster than us." Scar's antenna twitched rapidly. "We underestimated them. We assumed primitiveness, but this is strategy, coordination, intelligence, something beyond their size and technology alone." Even Thrix, the proudest of all, felt a shiver of doubt. "Impossible. These humans cannot be this advanced." Kane did not gloat. Humans did not rely solely on weapons. They relied on understanding, ingenuity, and adaptability. Each alien move was analyzed in milliseconds, each weakness exploited, each opportunity seized. The battleship moved like a predator, striking only where necessary, avoiding unnecessary destruction, and sending a clear message. Humanity was not a race to be trifled with. In orbit, as the alien commanders realized they were outmaneuvered, panic spread. Frigates collided, missiles misfired, and fighter squadrons were trapped in patterns they could not escape. Vale shouted orders that could not be executed fast enough. The humans seemed to anticipate every response. And then, a sight none of the alien commanders had expected. Small human fighter craft emerged from the battleship's hangars. Sleek, fast, and deadly precise, they moved in perfect formation, striking at critical points on alien vessels. Their attacks were brief, efficient, and accurate, disabling engines, weapons, and sensors without causing mass casualties. The aliens were left helpless, scrambling to understand how a primitive species could execute such complex maneuvers. Kane watched the battle unfold, his calm demeanor contrasting with the chaos among the aliens. "Deploy drones to map residual energy fluctuations. We need to learn everything we can from this encounter." Mara's fingers flew over the console. Drones deployed, collecting data in real time. For hours, the human battleship demonstrated its dominance without risking its own survival. Every strike was calculated, every movement precise, every decision a lesson in strategy. Alien arrogance began to crumble as their fleet suffered losses they could not comprehend. Vale's eyes narrowed in disbelief. "They are teaching us a lesson we did not ask for." Scar's voice trembled. "This is more than technology. It is intelligence, coordination. They adapt faster than we can attack. We are unprepared for this." Thrix, who had always believed in the superiority of his species, now struggled to maintain confidence. We cannot lose. Retreat is unacceptable. They are just humans. Nothing more." But as the battle continued, it became clear that the humans were not just defending, they were dominating. Alien ships that had once struck fear into entire star systems were now drifting, disabled, and broken, while humans moved with calm precision, always just one step ahead. On Earth, in the control centers, scientists and engineers monitored every movement. Their technology had been designed to adapt, learn, and respond in real time. Humans had built their defenses not just for survival, but for advantage. They understood that intelligence, not sheer force, could change the course of history. By mid-orbit, the alien fleet had taken its first serious losses. Several frigates were drifting helplessly, engines offline, while smaller fighters had been neutralized without casualties. Alien morale, once unshakable, began to crumble. Vale turned to his fellow commanders. "We underestimated them. We assumed primitiveness. That was our mistake. They are something else, something we cannot measure. Scar nodded solemnly. We should retreat, at least temporarily. This engagement is not in our favor. Thrix's pride resisted. Retreat? After centuries of dominance? Never. We will strike again. A pulse of energy from the human battleship interrupted him, temporarily disabling the bridge systems of the flagship. The command room plunged into darkness for a moment before emergency systems restored minimal functionality. Thrix's roar of frustration echoed across the fleet. Even the other commanders could not deny it. Humans were not a minor species. They were intelligent, strategic, adaptive, and fearless. For the first time, the galaxy's hunters were being hunted. Kane, observing from his bridge, allowed a small smile. They have realized their mistake. They assumed we were weak. They assumed we were primitive. They assumed wrongly. Mara glanced at him. Do we continue the attack, sir? Kane shook his head. Not yet. Let them retreat if they can. Let them live to understand. The galaxy needs to see the humans as they truly are, and they will remember this day. As the alien fleet began to disengage, some vessels retreating while others struggled to regain control, the human battleship remained a silent sentinel above the planet. Its presence alone had changed the balance of power, proving that humanity's ingenuity and courage could challenge even the most powerful forces in the galaxy. In the dark expanse of space, one truth became clear. Humans were not just survivors. They were strategists, innovators, and warriors in their own right. And the galaxy had no choice but to acknowledge them. By the end of the day, whispers spread through the alien fleet. For the first time in their history, they feared a species that had once seemed insignificant. Humans had revealed themselves, and the universe would never view them the same way again. The stage was set. Humanity had shown the first sign of its power. And the galaxy, once confident in its hierarchy, now faced a question it could not answer. What else could humans do when fully unleashed? The alien commanders had retreated for now, but their retreat was not without cost. Their arrogance had been shattered. Ships that had once inspired terror now floated disabled or drifting helplessly through space. And yet, their pride refused to admit the truth. Humans were not weak. They were a species unlike any the galaxy had faced before. Captain Elias Kane watched the alien fleet's scattered movements from the bridge of the battleship. His crew remained calm, efficient, and alert. Each officer understood that this was more than just a battle. It was a message, a demonstration of what humans could accomplish when they combined courage, intelligence, and technology. Status report, Kane said. Lieutenant Mara's fingers flew over the controls. All alien vessels still in the system are damaged. Some are drifting with minimal power. Sensors report no new reinforcements nearby. Kane nodded. Good. Prepare for the next phase. We are not finished. They need to understand that humans do not just survive. We adapt, we strike, and we dominate when necessary. The human battleship moved with a quiet purpose. Its engines emitted only faint energy signatures, designed to avoid detection by remaining alien vessels. Small drones were released, sleek and silent, to map alien positions and analyze residual damage. Each drone transmitted data back instantly, feeding into the battleship's central intelligence network. Far below, on the surface of Earth, scientists monitored every action. They had long known that humanity's survival depended not just on technology, but on cleverness, ingenuity, and the ability to act unpredictably. The alien fleet had assumed that humans were simple, predictable, and weak. They had been wrong. Vale, aboard the alien flagship, paced in frustration. This cannot continue. We have superior numbers, superior firepower, and yet they have dominated us with a single vessel, a single ship. Scar's antenna twitched nervously. We underestimated them. Every assumption we made has proven false. Their strategies, their precision, they are not primitive. They are extraordinary. Thrix's multiple eyes blazed with anger. Extraordinary or not, we will not fail. Prepare the fleet. We will strike back and we will destroy them. But Vale's voice carried doubt now. "Do you not see it, Thrix? We cannot predict them. Every move we make, they counter. Every attack we launch, they neutralize. If we strike recklessly, we will lose more than we can afford." The alien commanders argued, their unity beginning to fracture under the weight of human ingenuity. In their arrogance, they had assumed victory before even engaging fully. Now, the humans had forced them to question every decision. Kane, aboard the human battleship, did not waste time with hesitation. He had studied the alien tactics, learned their patterns, and calculated the most effective ways to strike. Humanity did not rely on brute force alone. They relied on thinking faster, predicting moves, and exploiting weaknesses with precision. "Deploy the drones to simulate a secondary fleet," Kane ordered. "Let them believe more ships are incoming. Position them to create confusion. Activate decoys in 3, 2, 1. Across the system, sensors on the alien ships registered the sudden appearance of additional targets. They were small, quick, and impossible to distinguish from real human fighters. Alien commanders immediately scrambled their forces to intercept, unaware that these were nothing more than holographic decoys controlled by human drones. "Multiple human reinforcements detected," shouted an alien officer. "They are more numerous than we thought," Vale growled. "Impossible. They cannot produce so many ships. Focus fire on the originals." But every attempt to concentrate on the true battleship was met with failure. The decoys drew attacks away, confusing targeting systems and causing collisions among alien fighters. Small vessels, intended to strike humans, destroyed one another or drifted helplessly after miscalculations. Kane's calm voice echoed through the bridge. "Phase 2 initiated. Target their command vessels. Disable engines, short-circuit weapons, and disrupt communications. Non-lethal. We want a message, not unnecessary destruction." Lieutenant Mara smiled slightly. "Targets locked. Pulse weapons ready. Awaiting your mark." "Mark," Kane said. The human battleship unleashed a series of energy pulses that struck alien command ships with surgical precision. Engines faltered, weapons went offline, and communication systems scrambled. The alien fleet's coordination began to collapse. Orders were misunderstood, responses delayed, and panic spread across the formation. Vale slammed a claw on the console. "They are precise. Every attack is calculated. How can one vessel predict so much?" Scar's antenna quivered. "It is not just the vessel. It is the humans themselves. They are organized, strategic, fearless." Even Thrix, whose pride had always been unshakable, felt a pang of fear. "This is not possible. No species should be able to do this." Kane did not pause. He deployed small fighter squadrons from the battleship, each craft sleek, agile, and capable of independent action. They struck at alien frigates, disabling weapons and engines without killing crews. The strikes were precise, deliberate, and devastating to morale. Alien pilots were unprepared for the human tactics. They expected direct confrontation, but humans used unpredictability, intelligence, and coordination. Fleets that had conquered countless worlds were now in disarray, struggling to respond to moves they could not anticipate. On the human bridge, Kane observed the alien panic. He did not gloat, but he allowed himself a sense of satisfaction. Humanity had shown the first signs of its true capability. It was not just power or technology, it was intelligence, strategy, and courage. That combination had always given humans an edge, even against overwhelming odds. "Deploy long-range scanners to analyze remaining fleet patterns," Kane ordered. "We need to anticipate their next moves." Lieutenant Mara nodded. "Scanners active. Data flowing in." The human battleship moved silently through the debris of damaged alien ships, targeting critical systems with precision pulses. Fighters intercepted reinforcements, disabled weapons arrays, and disrupted communications further. The aliens, who had entered the system expecting an easy victory, were now in full retreat. Vale, Scar, and Thrix convened on the alien flagship. For the first time, their alliance felt fragile. Pride had been shattered, and fear had crept into their minds. We cannot continue like this, Scar admitted. Our fleet is disorganized. Our commanders are confused. The humans, they are too clever. Vale's claws clenched. We may survive this engagement, but our arrogance has cost us. We must withdraw, regroup, and reassess. Humanity, they are not what we assumed. Thrix refused to accept it. They are still humans. We will return stronger. We will destroy them. But even Thrix could not deny the lesson. Humans were not predictable. They did not rely solely on numbers or weapons. They adapted, learned, and struck with intelligence and precision. Every alien assumption had been proven wrong. Below, on Earth, the human battleship remained a silent sentinel, ready to defend if necessary but no longer needing to strike. The alien fleet's retreat was proof enough of the message humanity intended to send. They were not weak, they were not primitive, and they were a force to be reckoned with. Kane allowed a brief pause on the bridge, letting the crew absorb the magnitude of what had been achieved. This is only the beginning, he said. The galaxy needs to know that humans cannot be underestimated. Today, we have proven it. Mara glanced at him. They will spread the story, sir. They cannot hide this defeat. Kane nodded. Good. Let them fear us, not for brutality, but for intelligence, courage, and determination. That is our strength. In the aftermath, alien pilots whispered among themselves. Stories of the human battleship spread rapidly. Even the least cautious among them began to reconsider their assumptions about humans. They had faced countless species, crushed planets, and destroyed fleets. Yet humanity had turned a single battleship into a symbol of power, strategy, and invincibility. Vale's voice, once so commanding, now trembled slightly. We must report this. The galaxy must know. Humans, they are unlike anything we have encountered. They are not primitive. They are dangerous. Scar nodded in agreement. And we will need allies to face them. Alone, we cannot predict what they will do next. Thrix, still unwilling to accept defeat, gritted his teeth. They have won this engagement, but we will return. And when we do, they will regret underestimating us. Kane, meanwhile, had already moved on. The human battleship remained in orbit, monitoring the remaining alien ships, gathering intelligence, and preparing for the next encounter. Humanity had sent its first warning, and it had been heard loud and clear. On the bridge, Kane reflected on the battle. Humans had survived countless challenges, faced dangers that seemed impossible, and emerged victorious through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Today was no different. Today, the galaxy had seen a glimpse of human potential, and the aliens would never forget it. As night fell over the planet, the human battleship stood silent in orbit, a sentinel of intelligence and strength. The alien fleet had retreated, but humanity knew this was only the beginning. Across the stars, the message was clear. Humans were not weak, humans were not predictable, and humans would not be ignored. The galaxy had witnessed a single truth. When humans fought, they did so with mind, courage, and skill. And that made them formidable beyond measure. For the first time, the hunters had truly been hunted, and they had learned the price of underestimating a human being. The alien fleet limped away from the human planet, battered, confused, and shaken. For the first time in their long history, commanders who had never known fear felt it deeply. Across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. Rumors of a single human battleship that had defied logic, shattered fleets, and outsmarted the most powerful alien commanders. Captain Elias Kane remained on the bridge of the human battleship, calm and composed. His crew moved with quiet efficiency, repairing minor damages, analyzing data from the engagement, and preparing for the possibility of a second encounter. Kane did not underestimate the aliens. Experience had taught him that patience, strategy, and careful planning were more powerful than recklessness. Lieutenant Mara reported, "Sensors indicate the alien fleet has retreated to multiple star systems. They are regrouping, but their formation is broken. Their communication networks are compromised." Kane nodded. "Good. Let them retreat. They need to understand their underestimation. The galaxy must see what humans can do." Below, on Earth, scientists and engineers monitored the retreating alien fleet. For decades, humanity had prepared for this moment, not just to survive, but to send a message. Every sensor, every weapon, every ship had been designed with intelligence, adaptability, and efficiency in mind. Humanity had shown that even a single battleship, when combined with skill, courage, and ingenuity, could challenge the most advanced civilizations. In the alien home systems, the commanders convened in emergency councils. Vale paced back and forth, his claws clicking against the metal floor. We were wrong. We underestimated them. Our arrogance has cost us dearly. These humans, they are not primitive. They are something else entirely. Scar's antenna twitched nervously. We have faced countless civilizations, conquered worlds, and destroyed fleets. Yet one human battleship, one vessel, has done what we could not stop. Their intelligence, their strategy, their adaptability, it is beyond anything we have measured. Thrix, pride still burning in his eyes, growled, "This cannot be the end. They are humans, fragile and limited. We will return, stronger, smarter, and more prepared." But even Thrix could not deny the lesson. Humans were unpredictable. Humans could adapt, learn, and strike with precision in ways that alien logic could not anticipate. The arrogance of the alien commanders had been shattered, replaced by caution, fear, and respect. Meanwhile, humanity did not celebrate recklessly. Kane knew that this was only the beginning. Alien civilizations would spread tales of the human battleship, and every species in the galaxy would begin to reconsider their assumptions about humans. Knowledge, wisdom, and preparation were as vital as weapons and numbers. "Captain," Mara said, "sensor readings show that many species are already detecting the outcomes. The story of our victory is spreading across multiple systems." Kane allowed a faint smile. "Good. Let them see humans as they are. Not just survivors, but innovators, strategists, and a species that will not be underestimated. This is how we survive in the galaxy, through intelligence, courage, and adaptability." On alien worlds, the ripple effects of the battle began immediately. Military strategists convened, reviewing the encounters in detail. Fleets were reorganized, defensive protocols rewritten, and alliances reconsidered. No species wanted to underestimate humanity again. Humans, once considered a minor threat, were now acknowledged as a force that could not be ignored. Back on the human battleship, engineers worked tirelessly to repair systems and enhance performance. Every maneuver, every pulse, and every strategy from the engagement was analyzed to improve readiness. Humanity's victory was not only in the battlefield, it was in knowledge gained, tactics perfected, and confidence reinforced. "Captain," Mara said, "data shows alien fleets are moving cautiously in our sector. They are hesitant to approach without careful planning. They will spread warnings." "Exactly," Kane replied. "Let them spread warnings. Let every species know that humans are intelligent, adaptable, and courageous. That is our strength. Fear is not in our weapons alone, but in the mind that guides them." Far across the stars, diplomats, scientists, and leaders of other civilizations began sending messages. Some sought alliances, hoping to learn from humanity. Others prepared defenses, fearful of the species that had so unexpectedly risen in power. Kane knew this was inevitable. When a species shows potential, the galaxy notices. Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians remained largely unaware of the battle's scale. To them, it was another day of life, of progress, and of survival. Yet the hidden fleets, the secret battleships, and the intelligence networks ensured that humanity's true strength remained a guarded advantage, revealed only when necessary. Kane reflected on what had been achieved. Humanity had survived threats that other species had crushed without hesitation. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious not by force alone, but by intellect, strategy, and courage. That was the essence of being human: adaptability, ingenuity, and the will to endure. "Captain," Mara asked quietly, "do you think they will return?" Kane's gaze rested on the stars. "Eventually, yes. But they will remember what they faced. They will think twice before underestimating humans again. And when they return, we will be ready, not just with weapons, but with mind, strategy, and determination. That is how humans win. In the distant reaches of space, alien commanders reported back to their empires. The message was clear. Humanity was not primitive. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was intelligent, adaptable, and dangerous in ways that brute force alone could not measure. Across the galaxy, whispers turned into conversations, conversations into debates, and debates into cautionary tales. Meanwhile, the human battleship returned to orbit, scanning for threats, repairing minor damages, and preparing for the unknown. Kane addressed his crew, his voice calm but filled with purpose. Today, we showed the galaxy who humans truly are. Not just survivors, but strategists, innovators, and warriors of intellect and courage. Remember this: strength is not only in weapons. Strength is in understanding, adapting, and acting decisively. That is what makes humans formidable. That is what ensures our survival. The crew nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. They were part of something greater than themselves, a species that had survived countless dangers, faced the impossible, and risen above every challenge. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer in question. Over the following weeks, the effects of the battle spread. Alien scouts approached other human settlements cautiously. Stories of the human battleship circulated through the cosmic networks. Species that had once laughed at humans now approached with respect, caution, and curiosity. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy yet, but it had claimed something equally valuable: recognition. Kane understood that victory was not just in defeating the alien fleet, it was in demonstrating what humans could achieve when united by courage, intelligence, and determination. The galaxy had witnessed a species that combined ingenuity with heart, strategy with bravery, and persistence with precision. On the bridge, Mara asked, "Captain, what now?" Kane gazed into the dark expanse of space, where stars twinkled like distant eyes watching silently. "Now, we prepare. The galaxy has seen our strength. Others will come. Some will seek to challenge us, others to learn from us. But humanity will face them all, with intelligence, with courage, and with determination. That is what it means to survive. That is what it means to be human." The battleship moved quietly through orbit, a symbol of human ingenuity and power. In the silent expanse of space, it seemed almost alive, a guardian of a species that refused to be underestimated. Humanity had shown its first strike, and the universe would never be the same again. In the hearts of the alien commanders, a new understanding had taken root. Humans were not simple, they were not predictable, and they were not to be ignored. Across the galaxy, empires would remember the lesson for generations. One human battleship could change the course of events, challenge assumptions, and force even the most arrogant species to rethink their strategies. Back on Earth, life continued as usual, but the hidden victories had altered the trajectory of humanity forever. The lessons of intelligence, courage, and ingenuity would guide future generations. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the stars, not by recklessness, not by sheer numbers, but by the combination of mind, skill, and unyielding spirit. As the human battleship orbited silently, Kane looked out into the galaxy. The stars seemed brighter than ever, full of possibilities and challenges, and he knew that whatever came next, humanity would face it with the same qualities that had allowed them to survive, adapt, and triumph: intelligence, courage, and determination. The galaxy had finally realized the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were survivors, innovators, and warriors of mind and spirit. And the universe would never forget their first victory. The human battleship, a silent sentinel above the planet, was more than a ship. It was a statement. A symbol of what humanity could achieve when it combined intelligence with courage, strategy with bravery, and determination with skill. It was a warning, a promise, and a lesson. Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans triumph. And in that truth lay the essence of HFY. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or power, but in mind, spirit, and will. The galaxy had glimpsed the future, and it had seen the humans rise.